It's night 4 in the game. At Rival Redemption Camp, Malum makes himself at home but very quickly becomes bored. He can't sleep because all that's going through his mind right now is the question of whether Emma will keep him around or not. He alternates between guesses, sometimes thinking she'll keep him, and sometimes thinking she won't. He hopes this isn't his last night on Survivor. At Huhu, Sarah and Mark talk about the latest blindside on Malum. Mark can't believe that every single person lied to him except Sarah. He feels like he has to reevaluate how he plays the game. Sarah says the same about her strategy in the game. She feels like she's not doing enough to be looped in on vote-offs. She fears the two of them are the next targets right now for the majority. Jaya and Karen chat in the meantime. Karen admits she voted for Romero, thinking everyone was sticking to the plan. Jaya admits to her that some people, mainly Liana, wanted to flip the vote on Malum because he was exposed as the third vote for her. Karen then realizes she's the reason Malum was sent out and starts feeling guilty. At the same time, she's starting to think about getting her revenge on Liana for pulling off a last-second move. Karen tells Jaya that at this point, she's the only person she trusts because they have a close personal bond. Jaya agrees and says she will fill her in if anything drastic happens in her game conversations. Liana and Eric celebrate the fact that their alliance is now stronger than ever. They list out that it's the two of them, BJ, Jaya, and Romero. Liana feels confident that the five of them can continue to trust one another. Eric agrees and wonders how the remaining three feel. Liana says she isn't that concerned about them because they are definitely going to seek revenge after a blindside like that. On Huhu, Emma and Allison hug each other as they continue to grow their friendship. Emma then asks her who she currently trusts the most outside of her, and Allison claims she trusts Boo Boo and Caden for the most part. After that, Adriana and Anna are solid numbers, but are not people she sees herself going to the end with. Emma feels really good about this 6 and says that right now, they need to keep the attention on Ivy and Tanner in the case their tribe loses the next immunity challenge. Allison says she has more issues with Jared, but also understands how dangerous Ivy and Tanner are. Meanwhile, Tanner tries to rally numbers, and he talks with Jared and Caden about how threatening Emma and Allison are. He reminds them that Emma is a well-known villain on social media, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that she's going to play like a villain in this game. Jared says he doesn't have a strong relationship with Emma, but he's also very eager to vote out Allison. Caden avoids talking badly about the two throughout the whole conversation and acts like he agrees with everything Tanner and Jared say. Ivy talks to Adriana and tries to rally her as a number against Emma and Allison. She tells Adriana that she's disposable to those two and needs to flip the next chance she gets. Adriana breathes out and tells Ivy what she has been thinking about lately. She feels like this tribe is full of villains and wants the villains to come together because they never get far in this game. Specifically, she wants the two of them and Emma to work as a trio. This is why she wants to push the target onto Jared or Tanner because she doesn't have any association to them. She mainly wants Tanner out because she at least has conversations with Jared from time to time. Ivy isn't sure how she feels about this, but says they'll talk more tomorrow. Day 5, and it's time for the reward challenge. Everyone arrives at the mats and Huhu sees Huhu walk in without Malum, connecting the dots that he was voted out last night. Justin welcomes the two tribes and claims they will need to find out what happens to the current rival redemption camper before the reward challenge. He calls Malum's name out and Malum walks in. He stands next to Justin and eyes Emma. Emma smiles back at him, so Justin asks her how she feels seeing Malum as the one voted out. Emma pretends to feel bad for him, but Malum calls her out for trying to fake it. She doesn't respond well to this and says his fate is in her hands, so he shouldn't have a bad attitude right now. Justin then asks Emma what her decision is. Will she keep Malum at Rival Redemption so he has a second chance at this game, or will she eliminate him? He reminds her that if she eliminates him, she will not have a second chance at this game if she gets voted out before merge. Emma confidently says that she would love to eliminate Maolum because after all these years of drama, she's sick and tired of him dragging her name around like a toy. Maolum doesn't say anything in response and Justin lets him know he has to leave the island now. He waves goodbye to his old tribe and they wave back in response. They watch him as he slowly leaves their sight. Maolum's final thoughts. Maolum is both surprised and unbothered. He thought Emma was going to keep him around to become this massive figure within the game. Not only that, but based on how ruthless of a character she is, he would have thought she'd keep him in the case she gets herself voted out of the game. All in all, he doesn't care at this point and promises to continue dragging her name on social media. With Maolum out now, Justin continues with the reward challenge rules. In this, both tribes will need to scour through books and find one specific quote. The quote is, "Fire is life." The first person to spot the quote in a book will win reward for the tribe. There are multiple books with this quote inside. The reward at stake is a chicken coop with 2 hens that will hopefully sustain the tribe's food issues. Justin asks Huhu to sit one member out since they have an extra player, so they sit Tanner out since books aren't his thing. The challenge begins and all members grab a book and start flipping through pages. Eric decides to sit on the sand so he's right next to the bookcases. Everyone else chooses to sit on chairs. Both tribes continue flipping through pages. 30 minutes go by, and Emma yells out that she found the phrase, but quickly retracts what she said because she realizes it's not the correct quote. Throughout another hour, there is a continuous trend of finding nothing in the books. Allison finds nothing, Emma finds nothing, Ivy, Sarah, Eric find nothing. At one point, Adriana is so bored that she pretends she found the quote to throw off the other tribe, but nobody falls for it. The trend of finding nothing continues. Karen finds nothing, Boo Boo, Anna, Jared, Romero, Liana, Gia all find nothing. It continues. Allison, Eric, Emma, Kaden, but then, Karen shouts out that she found the phrase, "Fire is life," and Justin goes over to confirm it. He says it's correct and that Karen won reward for Huhu. They all cheer and chant that they are getting eggs tonight. Justin claims the coop will arrive at their camp before they arrive, so he sends both tribes back to camp now. At Huhu, Karen feeds the hens after the tribe agreed she can be the first one to do so because she won the challenge for them. A hen then exits the coop and roams around the camp. Karen calls that hen Bertha since it's the name of her grandmother. Jaya talks with BJ and asks him who he thinks the next target should be. BJ says he doesn't want to skip Mark again since he wanted him gone twice now, but the Alliance preferred other people both times. Jaya says she's on board with this and promises not to sway away from that plan. She also adds that they should prioritize Karen over Mark and Sarah because Karen isn't as hurt from the blind side as some may think. BJ says they will still need to be very cautious of her because there's no way she doesn't feel unhappy in the slightest. Karen and Mark chat alone and Mark tells her that at this point, the two of them and Sarah will need to work together as the outsiders. Karen asks him if he knows who else they can pull in, and he suggests pulling in Romero. Karen doesn't feel too good about that idea because just tried to vote him out. Mark shrugs and says there's nothing else they can do. Plus, it's her fault for voting him in the first place. She should have voted for BJ with him and Sarah. Karen later chats with Romero and tells him she doesn't want them to have any bad blood just from the last vote. Romero says it shocked him when he heard she was voting for him. He obviously couldn't trust her and Maolum at that point, so he voted Maolum out. Karen says she was a follower and that it was Maolum's plan all along to take him out. Romero calls her lucky because that's what he heard from other people, so he trusts that claim at least. Karen says that right now, she wouldn't mind voting out Mark if it satisfies the tribe. Romero says it's their best option since they need solid numbers going into a swap situation. At Huhu, Caden tells Boo Boo that Tanner is rallying numbers against Emma and Allison. He feels like Jared is on side with Tanner since he has something against Allison. Boo Boo claims that he's not voting Emma and Allison out since Tanner barely talks to him. Caden agrees and says he's not flipping. He's just worried that Adriana and Anna may flip, meaning Tanner would have a 5-4 advantage over them. Meanwhile, Tanner, Ivy, and Adriana talk. Tanner tries to convince Adriana that it's in their best interest to take out Emma and Allison. Adriana asks him what he has to offer her since by her flipping, she's taking out someone who potentially trusts her already. Tanner says they can build a strong alliance with the three of them and Jared. He also thinks she can assist their alliance by convincing Boo Boo and Caden to flip on the two girls. Adriana says she would be throwing away her relationship with the one who ends up staying if she were to flip. Tanner promises he'll be a shield ahead of her and he'll inform her if she's ever in danger. Adriana looks at Ivy and says she'll think about this offer. Emma has a chat with Anna to keep their game chats occurring on a regular basis. Emma asks her how she feels right now, and Anna says she feels solid with her and Allison. Emma says she feels the same way about it. She asks Anna who she would like to see go next from their tribe, and Anna says she's a bit skeptical of Jared since he's such a wild card. Emma nods quietly and then proceeds to say that she has been feeling better about Jared lately and has growing concerns with Tanner. She explains that Tanner is a hardcore player and will do whatever he can to survive. Jared is a much weaker player and will be easier to take out later on. Anna then agrees with Emma, seeing that there's no way to convince her that Jared should go next. Night 5 hits, and Tanner has a trio meeting with Ivy and Anna. He updates Anna that he thinks he has Adriana in their corner now. Anna warns Tanner that Emma is going after him, and despite trying to flip her to target Jared, Emma is still unconvinced. Tanner says this is exactly why Emma needs to go. She has a mind of her own and doesn't listen to what other people have to offer. Anna says this is exactly why she's never working with Emma in this game and is only keeping up an act with her. Tanner later goes to chat with Boo Boo, making the same typical pitch against Emma and Allison. He even adds that Emma is not a team player, so by working with her, she will always get her way. Boo Boo says he sees right through Emma. However, Boo Boo also can't trust Tanner. Tanner says that he knows he has been hard to trust for the simple fact that he was associated with Sam the first 2 days of the game, but he's past that. It's a great opportunity to start new bonds that will work long term. He tells Boo Boo that there's no way Emma is going to work with an older father figure. She's more of a girl's girl. He tells Boo Boo to sit on this information and let him know how he feels tomorrow. They split up and Boo Boo goes to use the restroom. He thinks about his conversation with Tanner and eventually falls asleep in the same bush he peed in. It's day 6, and it's time for the immunity challenge. Huhu returns the immunity statue to Justin, and Justin proceeds by explaining the rules of this challenge. In this, everyone will be divided into groups. 2 people will start the challenge off by completing 20 reps on the weight machine. They must go one at a time, so once the first person finishes their set, they must tag team their partner so they go next. After both members have done their 20 reps, 2 members will run on a treadmill until they reach enough kilometers on it. The treadmill pauses if the players pause on it to take a break. Once both members finish, the last 4 members will go one at a time and shoot a hoop. After landing one successfully, the next person goes. The first tribe with all 4 shooters scoring will win immunity. Justin then asks Huhu to sit someone out, and they go with Boo Boo. With that, Justin asks everyone to get into their workout gear so they can get started. With that, the first group that will use the weight machines are Eric and Mark from Huhu, and Jared and Allison from Huhu. On the treadmills are Karen and Romero from Huhu, and Caden and Anna from Huhu. The rest are going to shoot hoops. The challenge begins, and Eric and Jared go first for their 20 reps. Jared instantly struggles doing his reps, and after a few seconds, Eric is already at 12 reps and Jared is only at 3. Eric continues speeding through and reaches 20 while Jared is still at 5. Mark goes up after Eric and finds himself also struggling due to how much he weighs. Since the weights are half of the players' starting weight on this season, it's more equally distributed for this challenge. After some time, Jared reaches 16 reps and switches to his arms to give his legs a break. Mark in the meantime is at 9 reps. Jared finishes his 20 while Mark is at 14. As Allison reaches her machine, Mark finishes his 20, so Huhu moves on to the treadmill section. Allison is at 3 reps, and then makes it to 5 once Karen and Romero get onto their treadmills. At 9 reps, Allison starts to feel so much pain that she wants to give up, but her tribe cheers her on to continue fighting. Finally, after some time, Allison does her 20, letting Caden and Anna start on the treadmill. As they get on, Karen finishes the treadmill while Romero continues to finish up. Romero then finishes soon after, letting Huhu move on to the final stage. Sarah is first with her ball and she lands her first shot. BJ goes next and misses his first shot, but he lands his second shot, letting Jaya go next. Caden and Anna continuously run without breaks to catch up. Jaya misses 2 shots, losing precious time for her tribe. On her 3rd attempt, she lands the ball, so Liana is up last for Huhu. After just 1 shot, Liana scores, meaning Huhu wins immunity. This means Hupai will need to go to Tribal Council tonight where one person will become the 4th person voted out of Survivor Rivals. Justin sends both tribes back to camp, and he mentions he'll be seeing Hupai tonight. Back at Wopai's camp, Emma is extremely enraged after an embarrassing challenge loss. She decides to let her rage out on Jared's old sandcastle he built last night since she blames him for the loss. Meanwhile, Jared talks with Adriana and calls Emma a delusional freak. Adriana is surprised Emma is acting this way since she probably wouldn't be able to do the weight machine herself. Jared says that he initially promised to vote Allison out, but now he's switching to Emma. Adriana feels like Emma is the better move right now because she's much harder to talk with than Allison. Anna later talks with Ivy and both talk about how crazy Emma has become. Ivy says this woman isn't healthy and jokes that she's off of her meds. Anna adds that even Jared can survive without being on his meds. Ivy says that she hopes this shows people that Emma has to go. Anna wonders if Emma or Allison have an idol, but Ivy doesn't think they would use it anyway if they can keep this vote a blindside. Emma talks with Allison and Caden about the vote being Tanner tonight. Caden warns them that Tanner is going for the 2 of them, but Emma isn't surprised. Allison thinks they cannot count on Jared tonight since he's making it clear he dislikes them. That means they have 6 votes for Tanner instead of 7, since Ivy isn't voting him either. Emma feels good about this and they move on to other topics of discussion. Tanner jumps into Adriana and Jared's conversation and confirms whether Emma is still getting their votes or not. Adriana says she's most likely doing Emma, but she's not fully sure yet. It depends what Boo Boo, Caden, and Anna think. Jared says he's voting Emma out for becoming a demonic tribe mate. Tanner's eyes widen and calls that an understatement. While everyone has their game chats, the camp is under fire, quite literally. The campfire lights one of the log seats on fire, so production evacuates everyone. Emma decides to yank a fire extinguisher from a production member and puts out the fire herself. Of course, she got a major warning for doing this, but she couldn't care less because she wants this moment to be captured on TV. After things settle down from the fire, Boo Boo, Emma, Caden, and Adriana discuss the vote. Emma insists that Tanner has to go because he's playing the game really hard, unlike Jared. Caden feels uncertain about this now because Jared has proven to be a weak tribe member. He's also someone who doesn't know how to play the game properly. Emma still shakes her head and says Tanner has to go. Once Tanner goes, they can vote Jared out. Boo Boo breathes out and calls Emma a lot of work to deal with. Emma says that if they want to work with her, they have to get used to her straight shooter personality. She grins and gives Boo Boo a wink. Before tribal council, Jared talks with Boo Boo, someone he appreciates having around. He calls Boo Boo one of the last sane people on this tribe and then goes on a rant about Emma and her actions lately. Boo Boo says he fully understands what Jared is talking about. He has been thinking real hard about cutting Emma now because of how hard she is to be around, let alone work with. The moon is up, so it's officially night 6. Everyone from Huhu arrives at tribal council, and Justin asks them to take a seat. He begins the discussion by asking the tribe to raise their hand if they feel responsible for the loss today. Jared and Allison raise their hands. Justin asks Allison if the challenge loss should be blamed on the weight machine people, and Allison says it was definitely their fault because they both struggled. Emma speaks up and says she mainly blames Jared because he was much slower. Ivy puts her finger up and excuses her from speaking. She says that as a 64-year-old man, Jared isn't as fit as everyone else. If anything, it's everyone's fault on this tribe for thinking they should risk him being on that machine. Emma then makes a confused face and says if she doesn't want to blame Jared, they should blame Tanner because he was leading the tribe. Tanner immediately denies the blame and says it was a team decision. He only made suggestions for which stages people should be at. Both Emma and Tanner go back and forth for a while, and some others like Ivy, Jared, and Anna also mix themselves into the argument. It all becomes a mess as everyone starts bashing Emma for her selfishness and inappropriate attitude. Allison steps in as she starts to worry people might flip on her and Emma tonight. She tells everyone to chill out and that nothing from this discussion should be used when casting a vote tonight. Flipping would make the game much messier, which is not what they need right now, especially since a swap will likely come by soon. Justin asks Adriana if she feels any different about her vote tonight after the messy argument, but Adriana shakes her head. She says she knew who she was voting for going in, and it's remaining that way. Justin then says it's time to get to the vote.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote, Emma. Tanner. 1 vote Emma, 1 vote Tanner. Tanner. 2 votes Tanner. Allison. That's 1 vote Allison. Allison. 2 votes Allison, 2 votes Tanner, 1 vote Emma. Emma. We're tied, 2 votes Emma, 2 votes Allison, 2 votes Tanner. Emma. That's 3 votes Emma, 2 votes Allison, 2 votes Tanner. Fourth person voted out of Survivor Rivals. Emma.
Emma keeps on a blank facial expression and Allison turns to the rest of the tribe and eyes them. Everyone else remains quiet as Emma gets up. She hugs Allison and wishes her luck, and then she goes to put her torch down next to Justin. She turns around to face everyone else as Justin snuffs her torch. She makes her way out and calls Boo Boo a loser for flipping, in which he scoffs and looks confused. Everyone breathes out once Emma leaves and Justin lets them know they can head back to camp, so they all head out. Emma walks up to the rival redemption sign and finds out that since she eliminated her rival already, she will not have a second chance at this game. Emma rolls her eyes, especially since she eliminated her rival this same round. She walks off and continuously says hateful words towards her tribe. Next time on Survivor Rivals. After losing every single ally she had from the last vote, Allison feels left out and struggles to figure out what she can do. At Huhu, the lines remain the same as Sarah, Karen, and Mark remain on the bottom. However, will Romero consider flipping on the majority, knowing he's number 5 in that alliance? Plus, you do not want to miss out on a tribe swap where everyone swaps onto 2 new tribes. All of this will be on Sunday's episode. Emma's final thoughts. Emma admits she only came onto the show to beat Malum and make him look like a loser. She feels like she succeeded since she made him look like a loser the other day after eliminating him. She obviously wishes she stayed longer because she had a good alliance going, but because of her strong personality, most people couldn't handle her. She calls Allison a real one and claims she'll root for her from the outside.